Hello and welcome to The Kickout, the final word in professional wrestling. I am your host, the Wizard CZ. Joining me, my partner, Never Wrong Nick Bull. Nick, I'll talk to you in a moment, not to shoo you away, but want to throw back. We had the return of our moment of focus on the last edition of Card Subject to Change, and I want to take a moment at the start of this program to hype once more as this airs on social media tomorrow, JT Energy will be doing a TEDx talk at the Capitol Theater in downtown Davenport. It's $22 for general admission tickets. Starts at 5:30, and he is one of, I believe, 8 other people that'll be doing talks here. So I wanna encourage you to go and check it out. And if you can't make it live, I'm sure that it will be put onto social medias at some point in the future once they get everything settled and edited down. But that being said, I had to talk about our good friend Mr. JT Energy one more time. But now, Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. And absolutely want to get the word out there about JT Energy. He does so much for us. A big supporter of the podcast. Of course, he lends the moment of focus in on a weekly basis, and we are so appreciative of him taking his time out to do that. They're always very spot on, and the production are very good. So we love that from JT, and we wish him nothing but the best with his talk on Thursday. But CZ, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I think we kind of closed the card subject to change talking about this. We coming off of our reactions to the Bad Blood Premium Live event that WWE presented as we record this this past Saturday, and the fallout from Bad Blood saw Cody Rhodes getting attacked by Kevin Owens after off the air. The only place you can see this is social media. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And it's interesting to see where this is going to lead to on the actual televised show. But that leads us into our topic today of social media and rivalries on social media.
Yeah, I can see this. I'll look at this from both sides of the aisle, so to speak. I know independent wrestling is very reliant on social media since they don't have like the weekly TV, and I get that. I'm addressing this and looking at this from the aspect of the big boys: WWE, AEW, TNA. Is doing something on social media only. Is it necessary? Is it a risk? And I'll tell you what I liked about it. I like the fact that it's backstage footage. It wasn't part of the broadcast, so you either have to be on social media for it to come up into your feed, or you have to seek it out, which can be good or bad. You're asking your fans maybe to do a little more than they normally would, but I think for the most part, those fans maybe already follow a lot of the stuff on social media. So it comes up in their feeds anyways. I think why WWE did this, and here's the main talking point I have on this. WWE could control how you reacted to it. Had this happened live, fans may have sided with Kevin Owens. They may see why he's doing this to Cody. There may not be as much empathy for Cody as the way they did it. Kevin jumps Cody backstage after a heated argument, beats him down outside of his bus, throws garbage at him, beats him some more. WWE can control the narrative here in the initial reaction by showing it this way and not having it live. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it. Now, do I want this constantly out of angles on TV where I have to tune into social media to find out what was said or what's next. I don't want this constantly, but they're trying something a little different here. So I'm going to give them a little room to try something different, make mistakes, see what does good, and grow from that. I like it. I like that they did this. I think it's going to be a cool thing. They can spin it however they want. And for a brief moment in time, a brief time, they're able to control this angle before it goes anywhere else.
And I'll add to that, over the last several months, you have seen, or at least I've been paying more attention to social media because particularly you look at the Drew McIntyre CM Punk feud. Drew McIntyre is a social media master, in my opinion, because he went out of his way to post on his socials different things just to poke the bear, so to speak, that is CM Punk. The biggest one that comes to mind is him standing with the scapegoat, Jack Perry. Give me a moment while I cringe. And, the talk about real glass. But no, Punk or Drew standing with Jack Perry, who is known to have a distaste and a dislike for CM Punk. As far as like overall though, I don't want to, I agree with you. I don't want this to be an everyday thing. I don't want to have to work for my wrestling entertainment. Because that's what it is. It's entertainment. It's a departure from your real life, and sure, we're all guilty of being on social media, but I don't want everything to turn over and just be solely on social media with the big league, with AEW, with TNA, with WWE, and what have you. I will counter and say that on the independent front, I love it. Those guys are getting their name out there the best way they can. They're showcasing their talents for cutting promos. I look back to Bridge City Slam 6. There was a heated promo battle between Jared Thumb and Damian Saint, two friends of the podcast. JT Energy, if you don't follow him on socials, he is all over social media. Go ahead and look for him at DJ Click and Play across social media. But they're not the only one. I'm using local examples that we are friends with because they've been on the show. So many more people are very active on social media and putting themselves out there, and I think that's great for them.
Yeah, I think it's the norm for independents. Like you don't have that weekly TV, so you're getting your name out there, you're promoting the event, you're trying to sell tickets, and you're trying to put your opponent over. So social media is very, independent wrestling is very relies on social media. You have to be social media savvy, I think, to be an independent wrestler and to get your name out there and to keep interest going, since you don't have that TV time. A little bit, like I said, it's different here for WWE and AEW, and I'm intrigued. I want to know where this is going to go, and if they try something like this again in the future, how quick is it going to be? Who's going to be involved? How are they going to tweak it or change it? But I just think in that moment where they released it post press conference, you leave it up to the people to decide. Without, I think they want you to feel sorry for Cody. That's how this was shot.
Yes.
They want you to be angry at Kevin Owens. That's how this was shot. And I think by doing it this way, they can control that. Whereas if this happened in front of a live crowd, there might be a split reaction.
Yes.
After seeing this footage, you're probably bound to, lean towards the side of Cody for how he was jumped and beat down and had garbage thrown at him. So I think that's kind of what they wanted to do here. And I think it's unique. When I seen it come across my thing last night, I texted you immediately. I'm like, hey, check out WWE socials. Something storyline related is going on. It wasn't part of the broadcast type of deal. So it's got people talking. We're talking about it here on the Kick Out. We want to know what you think. Do you think, social media should become a bigger part of WWE, AEW? where storylines take place on social media, where angles like this are shot on social media. Hit us up on socials. Hit up the show. We want to talk about this. We want to hear what you have to say, because the social media thing is kind of like the wild, wild west. It's there, and I think people want to use it a little more, but they want to use it the right way when it comes to like storylines for wrestling. I'm talking about at the top level, not just independents. So let us know what you think. We were definitely intrigued enough about it to bring it up here on the Kickout, and we definitely want to hear what you guys have to say as well.
Absolutely. And, I will say this, the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes video, there's several out there, more than several. The video that I watched, I don't know if it was something that WWE had produced on their own, if it was just a random fan, but they definitely steered you towards siding with Cody, because you hear the fan in the background, Kevin, what the F are you doing?
Yes. It's getting a reaction. So it worked. Let's see what they do next. It got a reaction. It's got people buzzing. It's got people talking. It's people seeking out their social media sites, which is what they want. So it's working so far. Let's see where it goes here in the coming weeks. And I'm sure we'll have more to add to it.
I have no doubt. And at the end of the day, it's whether you're on the big leagues or in the indies, it definitely is putting eyes on you, putting eyes on the product. And that's, at the end of the day, that's a good thing. Our good friend Joe Monroe always says, shut up and enjoy wrestling. And I agree. This is another way to shut up and enjoy wrestling.
Before we close this out, CZ, we want to let the people behind the curtain here and let them know what's coming up next on the Card Subject to Change podcast.
That's true. We do. We will be rebroadcasting at our normal time on Sunday. The reason I say rebroadcasting is because I will be in Waterloo on Saturday evening for Absolute Pro Wrestling. I believe the event is called Showdown. Jason Prentice will probably yell at me for not knowing the name 100%. Sorry, Jason, but you can beat me up when I'm get there. Just don't throw me in the cage. Nick, you, I know, announced last week that you will be at a college visit with your oldest son. Congratulations to him. I hope that goes well, and I'm anxious to hear the outcome. But I know that Wrestle Dream is this weekend. We will not be reviewing that, not because we are steering away from AEW, just because neither one of us are really going to have a chance to watch it before we broadcast. And with the pre-show podcast party 2, I don't want to put more on my plate than I have to. I will say this. I want to give a shout out to Zach Takis of Shotgun Wrestling Radio. He will be joining me on Saturday, filling in for Never Wrong Nick Bull as we do the pre-show party up in Waterloo. And I'm excited. I'm excited for a good weekend in wrestling, and I can't wait. I don't think I have ever seen a live cage match. So I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah, I am bummed I'm not going to be able to get to see that, but we'll live vicariously through the podcast and hearing your firsthand detail of it. I'm looking forward to that. So next week will be a rebroadcast of the pre-show podcast party from Waterloo for Absolute Pro Wrestling. We look forward to that. We look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Like, follow, subscribe. Let us know what you want to hear about on the Kickout. Let us know if you think the social media thing is going to work for WWE. Let us know. Hit us up. We love to hear from you guys. Until then, for the Wizard CZ, I am Never Wrong Nick Bull, and this is the Kickout, the final word in wrestling.